It's the book of Luke chapter 12, point is verse 51. And it reads, Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, teach and do rule well. I want to say peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Say shalom to the Akim and the Aquath out there listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. It's brother Yah, what's up? Coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shema Shai. This lesson is in regards to an article I just pretty much, Spirit hopped on me to want to do a video. Had a long day, and I was basically going over some videos because I want to come up with a something to bring out, and I didn't really get to read like I wanted to, but Spirit just hopped on me, like I said again, to do this lesson. And the first video or first article I seen was on judgment. Scriptures talk about the Lord pretty much judge of every day. The Lord is wicked with it. The Lord is angry with the wicked every day. Roughly paraphrased. So it's always judgment being enacted every day. But I read an article that really caught my attention because of the fact, I'm just gonna read the title. This is out of Insider Edition. It says middle school student pulls out gun and shoots friend. 11 dead after argument over a vape pen. So, there's nothing new about kids bringing guns to school and shooting up schools and whatnot. Personal testimony, not to be trying to brag or anything, but it's funny. I remember my brother had made a statement. My father used to have a little 32 pistol, and my brother used to always mess with it. So me being, looking up to my brother, I knew where the pistol was, and one day I took it to school. And I didn't get caught with it or anything. Thing is, my brother said he found out, though. He knew I took it. My father never knew, but long story short, and the school never found out, but my brother knew. Long story short, he confronted me about it, because at the end of the day, it would have come and bit him in the ass. But he said something. He said he knew that kids was gonna start taking guns to school based on me doing it, because I was very young at the time I did it. So I can imagine that taking place. Call Loyam La Yahweh Shema Shai. Nothing like that did happen, you know what I mean? Because that little boy is about to experience some shit, that, that spirit that jumped on him probably jumped off in order to just judge that 11-year-old boy. When you go into the number 11, it has a spiritual significance. But nonetheless, I came out with that scripture, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth, I tell you nay, but rather division, because those are two friends that were divided over something as silly as a vape pen, And look at their age too, we were doing things at a young age, but, it's a video circulating on, brothers did a video on it. I know the brother from Vegas, Karatazat, did a video saying this got to be the last generation, because you had a Jake up there, and, they had a bottle of liquor, and this little boy he couldn't even been 11, showing you, yeah, this is that generation, but saying all that to say this, that's red letter too, because it's ultimately Yahweh Shai who's bringing the division. I remember one time reading the Gospels, and reading all the different, the Gospels. I came to a conclusion, because when I forgot which one mentions it the most, but when Yahweh Shai would speak, he divided the very people that he was speaking to. You had some people that believed, some people that didn't. Just like when, brothers see spiritual things that happen when we go out, or, when they go out on the highways and hedges, I would see spiritual things when I would go out with the brothers. You know what I mean? The last camp that I attended, Vocab Malone was there, and there was one brother, the brother Kazak from Gary, that pretty much was saying he would see how when brothers were speaking, the individuals that he brought to pretty much try and cause confusion, when brothers were speaking and they were actually, the word was being sown, you could see them listening, he said, or, they was conflicted. He said, but then it was like vocab would go back and speak to those same individuals that was up there, conflicted, as if like stealing, the seed. I was like, damn, that's spiritual because that's straight out of the scriptures. But that being said, Yahweh Shai is actually coming with a spirit of division. So when division happens, it's really of the Lord, which is the cold part about it. And division could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing, what I mean? It ultimately is the Lord has, because like I've been bringing out as of lately, Proverbs chapter 20, man's goings is of the Lord, you know what I mean? So how can you know his own way? Roughly paraphrased, the Lord does everything for his purpose. Maybe for destruction, or maybe, look at how he did Barnabas and Paul, He divided them, he split them up. They both still kept on preaching. But yeah, I'm gonna read a little bit of the article. It says a Florida middle school student is facing criminal charges after allegedly shooting his friend dead, according to police. Detectives with the St. Petersburg Police Department arrested Galvin Lorenzo Santos Brown. So he probably Jake. 14 on Monday night and charged him with manslaughter following the death of the 11-year-old Vinder Andre Viandre Hargrove. Santos Brown turned himself in without incident, according to the police. Yeah, he probably fucked up. He killed his friend over something. And that just show you how, that's why they say never pull a gun unless you intend to use it. And, you just, that's why it's always important to be in control of your emotions. Because like I said again, anything can happen, and the spirits out here activated. Matter of fact, let me get that. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, in the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In their time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance, because the Lord uses these different things to enact judgment. Verse 10, teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents and a sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. The Lord can judge you by many means. He can use a spirit, or he could use, a wild beast. He's going to be using wild beasts in that day of, day of the Lord. Verse 31, they shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. They love doing the Alahayim, the left hand angels and the right hand angels love doing the will of the Lord. Even when you go into 2 Kings, I believe, when it talks about the account with Ahab and the lion spirit, when it was the host of heaven, you had the angels on the left and the angels on the right, and it was a lion spirit that jumped up and pretty much basically jumped on Ahab's prophets in order to get him to, commit to that battle that actually ultimately put him to death, And that angel didn't hesitate at all. You know what I mean? He said, yeah, I will go down there. And he said, how are you going to do it? He said, I'm going to be a lion spirit in the mouth of his prophets. And the Most High said, Yahweh Shem Yahushua said, go forth and it should be done. So let it be. Amen. But back in that it says, 4 days earlier, Santos Brown and Hargrove attended a party at the home of a mutual friend, according to a arrest affidavit obtained by Inside Edition Digital. As the victim was preparing to leave to return home, he sat on a sofa in the living room. The suspect sat adjacent to the victim on the sofa and pulled out a handgun, reads the affidavit. The two boys then began discussing a vape pen that was stolen from the suspect by the victim unknowingly, according to the affidavit. So damn, he he basically premeditated this to a degree. A witness told police that he asked Santos Brown to put the gun away, but when he turned his back, he heard a single gunshot, according to the affidavit. Wow. See, that's what I said. That's super abnormal. This is his friend, literally. And then for him to turn himself in, that was a spirit on him. Literally, he confronted him about a vape he felt he stole. He said, put it away, brother. Well, come on, nigga, put it away. Whatever he said to him, he thinking he ain't never believing his friend gonna shoot him and got shot. And then for him not to run, you know what I mean? Like, that was a spirit on him. He probably so fucked up. I'm like, damn. You know, and that's the scriptures talk about it's a terrible thing to fall in the hands of the living power. Police say that Santos Brown then fled the scene on foot, leaving the gun behind. Officers arrived on the scene to find Hargrove dead. They then questioned the one eyewitness who identified Santos Brown as the gunman. Santos Brown remains in custody, and detectives say they are still investigating events leading up to the shooting, as well as how Santos Brown acquired the gun he allegedly used in the crime. Yeah. So, you know, that's just proving the point that these spirits is becoming active, you know. So let me get some. I read that. It's the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 1, and it reads, "This know also in the last days perilous times shall come." When you go on that word perilous, it goes into kalipos, Greek word, and it means fierce, savage, dangerous. Means hard to bear, hard to do. So, you know, hard to bear, hard to live, hard to survive. It's gonna be dangerous out here, you know, and we actually really are seeing it. Look at like cities like New York and Chicago, when you got all this influx of migrants that pretty much are used to surviving in harsher. Because although, you know, brothers, you know, like a lot of brothers say, oh yeah, that's how it's gonna be. You're gonna have Jake fighting back. Yeah, it's gonna be like that because they're bringing violence to this is all spiritual, but it's ultimately Yahweh Shemel Shah bringing violence to the earth. You know, I'll never forget when Russia basically invaded Ukraine. Now it's funny because Ukraine invaded Russia. You know, that's a last ditch effort to keep the war going. Whoever the fuck those individuals are just some spirits created for vengeance. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Ukraine got decimated. You know what I mean? But yet still, Ukrainian soldiers invade Russia. That shit sound like some Hannibal shit. Like you know, like when Hannibal was gonna try and invade Rome. You know, it's a last ditch effort. Verse 2: For men should be lovers of their own selves. He was in love with a vape pen. Covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Verse 3: Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, meaning without self-restraint. Lack of self-restraint. He killed him over a fucking vape pen. Fierce, despisers of those that are good. Fierce, you know. That's some, ultimately everything's the will of the Lord, and obviously the Lord wanted that to happen for it to happen. But, you know, a stolen vape pen, you know what I mean? That's how you know it's spiritual. Verse 4: Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High. Scriptures talk about love thy brother, love thy neighbor. You know, he like, It's the book of Isaiah chapter 19. I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. This is a future prophecy because, you know, scriptures talk about, you know, Yahweh Shai, who you people even call Jesus Christ, returning, and he's going to destroy Babylon the Great, aka America. He's going to come back not on an actual cloud, but on an actual chariot, you know, what you people call UFOs or UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, you know, which are, you know, pretty much being disclosed that, you know, and I grew up looking at UFOs and whatnot. It's just funny how the Lord did certain things. You know, I remember my brother telling me about a testimony. I'm not going to bring it out, but it's just very spiritual, you know. Yeah, the UAPs or UFOs or the chariots of the Most High are real. Brothers got testimonies of seeing them, you know. I didn't even know about something personally took place with me until one day my brother told me. You know, man, I have a very bad memory. So that's how I know everything's divinely set up. You know, everything, nothing happens without a purpose or by accident. Everything is literally set up the way Yahweh Shem Yahushua wants it set up. Verse 2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And that, you know, with the incident between the two friends, you know, because again, those could have been Jake, but you got a lot of modern day Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? 2/3 of our people are modern day Egyptians because they believe in this Egyptian as, Babylonian as, wicked as, Roman, Romanized, you know, this Babylonian ass system, you know, like they believe in it, so that, you know, they're literally like Egyptians, you know, they're heathens, you know. But that spirit of, you know, that's what you got. That whole Civil War movie came out, and you know they pushing this Civil War, you know, at the Olympics. I didn't watch none of that, you know. On certain things, I'll be spiritually sensitive to. So, you know, I gotta like be careful of what I spiritually digest, you know. But from what brothers are saying, you know, there's a lot of symbolism in it. But you know, sometimes back in the day, it would be harder to decipher the symbolism. They said, nah, it's like kind of blatantly in your face, just like the rituals. You know, like from what I hear, in the Olympics, it was a ritual where a guy had golden wings on and flew through a pentagram. You know what I mean? Like, so like, what is that about? You know what I mean? Then basically they had a map of pretty much, you know, the world, you know, the United States, their vision of how they're trying to create it. That's a ritual. Don't y'all get that? The golden wing beast, you know what I mean? Whatever the fuck that was supposed to be first, but it's not going to, like, whatever. Ultimately, what these devils are planning and concocting is the will of Yahweh Shem Shah, but it's also his will that it does not come to full fruition. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. But when you go into Isaiah chapter 47, it says, they're gonna seek to the idols and to the you know, basically to the warlocks and the Chapmans. Verse 12, it reads, Isaiah 47 and 12, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels, because at the end of the day, they counsels ain't, you know, these spirits is trying to get them to a certain point, but at the same time, like I said, like it's a lot of in-house fighting, believe that. You know what I mean? That's why shit is getting so much more sloppy. And also is, you know, it's an overabundance of confidence. You know, you know, like you ever seen a James Bond movie where the villain reveals his plan before he killed the you know, the hero. You know what I mean? You know, it's a guy named Long Beach Griffey that I tend to watch here and there when I'm, you know, on some silly shit. And he, you know, he make a lot of little skits. Certain things he do is funny, but he did a skit about that. You know what I mean? Where he, like, how the movies is the villain always reveals his plan before he even, you know, before it even came to fruition. And in his skit, he killed the hero though. He like, you can't do that. He like, shit. He like, I done watched it. It was kind of funny. But my point being, you know, these devils are kind of, it reminds me of what these devils got playing out. Like, they've already starting to do certain things blatantly in your face, and you know they don't even have the system in place. That's how confident they are. You know what I mean? You know, but it's the Lord got their ass in a trick bag as well. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they having sleepless nights. You know what I mean? You know, like, you know, so you got some of them overconfident, you got some worried. You know, it's a lot of in-house fighting. There's a lot of shit going on right now. You know what I mean? You like you had that Jake sitting up here talking about must with the company that Jake was working for. He like basically they're working 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. Like, why you think it's such a rush on that? Because it's too much shit going on. They can't control. You got a whole war going on. Then you literally, you try to build this infrastructure. You got people. You got uprisings in different countries. So they got to time this perfectly, or it might, blow up in their fucking face. You know what I mean? That's just like that guy Eric Adams, the mayor of New York. He did whatever his puppet masters wanted him to do, but now he realizing like, damn, they talking about taking in more migrants. He can't. You know what I mean? He talking about shit. Our budget might have to double next year. You got to think about it. We only got like pretty much almost 3 months left to next year. We about to be going into fuck around and be going into Passover again. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that. But I would love to see how this election about to play out. And that's going to really bring those Egyptian against Egyptian. I miss some. Isaiah 47 and verse 10, for thou hast turned in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. And that's the mindset of these devils. They don't believe in the Most High. Look at you, was Noah Huvel Harari. You know what I mean? He said, we don't need the Most High God. You know what I mean? They think it's just them, you know what I mean? But that's the Lord giving you to a reprobate spirit, a reprobate mind. You know what I mean? The Lord, scriptures talk about how is the axe gonna boast up against his maker. You know what I mean? Roughly paraphrase. Like, how you gonna boast against him? So the Lord literally gave you everything you need to destroy yourself. It was the brother Amawan Gabar that made the most beautiful statement that I never took the time to really meditate on until that day. He said, shit, the Most High is so powerful, he created his own enemy to literally destroy. You talking about like that's power, you get what I'm saying? Verse 11, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. It's these things is about to take place and catch these people unaware. That's just like with the storm. It was a storm here. I was not aware of this storm coming. You know what I mean? Like out the blue. My first recognition of this storm is when my phone went off and they said it was a tornado in my area. And I'm like, what? So I, rushed home and you could see the tornado went through my street. But the Lord was merciful. My lights was out for 4 days. For his mercy. The Lord turned it back on in 4 days. And he could have fucked up our area, but he didn't. You know what I mean? Our lights was out for 4 days or whatever. But Esau, he tore down homes, all kind of shit. Like, and like I said, when I go into find out, like, because I did a couple of videos on it, come to find out, it was like 5 tornadoes. 5 represents power. At first, I thought it was 1. Then I read somewhere 2. Then I read somewhere and did a video on it. They said it was 3. So I got to saying, Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? Because it was spiritual. But then come to find out, they said it was like 5. I said, huh? So yeah, that was a very spiritual storm. Because again, Jake was spared and Esau shit fucked up. But not to digress. The Most High say, stand with thy enchantments, because the left hand enchantments come from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? That's the left hand side of the Most High. Allowing you to literally like dig your own pit. You know what I'm saying? That's cold how the Lord did it. You know what I mean? Because scriptures talk about the Lord made 2 against 2. Good against evil. Esau against, or Jacob against Esau. You know what I mean? Man and woman, opposites, Scriptures talk about a false balance and abomination to the Lord. So why would the Lord be, into the fact of a man with a man or a woman with a woman? You know what I mean? Like, that's off. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. But, when basically that spirit, those left hand spirits are going to be putting just like Esau has a time to rule, he's gonna have a time to be able to consult with those spirits, because ultimately those spirits got him in a trick bag. The spirits on the left and the right all are in subjection to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's why the scriptures tell you in the book of Hebrews, the Father of spirits. Verse 14, Isaiah 47:14, behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them, because America, aka Babylon the Great, is going to be destroyed by nuclear fire. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before it. Because that, again, that's the spirit that the Most High is waking up and putting into the earth, because it's gonna be that's why the scriptures talk about and the love of many shall wax cold. This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 24. At that time shall friend fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of the world. Going into, when it's a lack of things, friends gonna turn on each other. You know what I mean? Like I said again, you've seen two friends fight over a vape. or man, I even fight. The one individual was upset. He felt he stole it. He shot him in the back. And this is from an eyewitness. That's a cold spirit. But again, like I say, to have two friends arguing over something like that, that's just the beginning of that spirit being put into the earth. And the spirits that are not right, that's gonna affect. Like the Lord is division is the Lord. You know what I mean? And that's the cold part about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I read that so many times and then literally actually experience it. Like, that's what scripture says. It's a terrible thing to fall in the hands of the living power, and that's why you always must fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So you're gonna have more and more things set up by the Lord, these different, judgments and whatnot, and more, division. Because that's the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, to bring forth his purpose. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole, Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rachakodesh Rakatam. Double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwatha to listen and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad and the land of other nations appearing like the other nations, subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasharallah, shalom.